Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Eddie here. Just getting back from the beautiful Florida Keys. And this video, I wanted to talk about something that I've been pondering for a while now. So, this video is about chartering a boat and party boats. Okay? Now, if you have never been out on a party boat or a charter boat, you should definitely go. But this video is going to talk about how the captain of the boat is the most important factor in chartering a boat. All right. Now, when we were in the Keys, first of all, I go down to the Keys with my family and friends about once a year for the past 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 years. Probably about 35 years. So, one of the things that we do is the trip is just strictly generally about fishing. So we fish in the backyard of the house that we rent, or the bridges, or we try to find a party boat, or sometimes lately within the past several years we have been chartering a boat. Now today is October 10th, 2022. In Florida, and Hurricane Ian just left last week before last. So it's about a week or two past the hurricane, and the fish, when we went down there, the fish were biting like crazy. However, old habits die hard, right? So choosing a captain, choosing a boat, choosing a company to go with, it all boils down to the captain. The captain is the number one factor when choosing a charter or a party boat. And I'm making this video because we went out with the same company twice, 2 days in a row. We went out with the company on Thursday, and we went out with the same company on Friday. Now, on Thursday, we had one captain. On Friday, we had a different captain. Now, I'm not going to mention the name of the company exactly, but it was out of the Keys. And on Thursday, now, again, I want to preface this by saying that, yes, I know the fish don't always bite, and I know that weather plays a strong impact in the fishing. All right, so the captain on Thursday, when we went to the spot, again, same company, we got on the boat, we all got on the boat, put our stuff in, gave a little sermon about, life vests, how to fish, and things like that. So we go out to the first spot. Fish start biting immediately. I catch the first fish at the first spot of the boat. So already I'm good. I'm thinking, this is a good spot. Then other people started catching yellowtail. I caught a yellowtail on the bottom, fishing on the bottom. Caught a nice size yellowtail. And then people who were flatlining, they were catching yellowtail. We were catching Cicero mackerels, all at the first spot now. So after about, I'd say, an hour, the captain decides to go try a different spot. So we all reel in our lines and we go to a different spot. And same thing at another spot. Boom, we catching fish. Boom, 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 we catching fish. Bum, bum. Everybody's catching fish. And then after about an hour or two, captain says, let's reel them up. Let's go to another spot. Boom, we go to another spot. We catching fish at the other spot. Boom, boom, boom. Catching fish. Bum, bum. So I ended up catching a couple grouper, one keeper grouper, a lot of yellowtail, Cicero mackerel, and actually I caught a strawberry grouper. Kept that one. It was a tiny one. And so I'm like, let's go out on this boat again, the party boat again. Now the party boat was, party boats, the price ranges from $75 to $125 per pop. So I'm like, we need to go on this party boat tomorrow, which is Friday. So we all get up, we all agree to go back. It was four of us in the group. So we all agree to go the following day, since we all had a great time. We all limited out on yellowtail snapper. I mean, we caught the limit, which was a 10 per person. So we decided to go back the next day. Next day, boom, we get there. Found out it's a different captain. We knew that it was going to be a different captain because the guy, one of the mates, was like, it's going to be a different captain tomorrow. He told us this on Thursday. So we're like, okay. So we go to the next day, different captain, same spiel. But here's the thing: we get to the first spot, and we stay there, and we're catching some fish. Not even gonna lie, we were catching some fish, but then the bite slowed up. Now, when a bite slows up, you would think that you would go to a different spot, right? I mean, this is just at the first spot. We've been at the first spot for like 2.5 hours now. And again, it's pretty much apples to apples. The same amount of people that were there on the boat on Thursday were there on Friday. Weather conditions were generally the same. It was a little bit more overcast on Friday. But other than that, it was generally the same. But we stayed at this one spot for, it seemed like forever. And we were catching, you know, some fish, but the action had obviously slowed down tremendously, where fish were being brought in the boat once every 10-15 minutes, and you're talking about, you know, about 15-20 people on the boat. So, you know, you're going quite some time without catching fish. So eventually, after about 2.5 hours, the captain decides to go to a different spot. So we go to, in the first spot, where was at maybe 65 feet. So the second spot that we go to, we drive a while, like maybe 30-45 minutes, because I had a sandwich, I had water, had a good conversation with the people on the boat. And a good thing about party boats is that you meet a lot of interesting people. They're on vacation, just out to have a good time, catch some fish, and have an experience. So we went to the second spot. It was much deeper. It was like 95-100 feet deep. And one of the things with this one, we got to the spot and the current was stronger than the captain expected, supposedly. So it took about 20 or 30 minutes for them to even anchor down, because they kept dropping the anchor, then having to get the anchor back up. And once they finally got the anchor to the nice spot, we dropped the lines, current was strong. But the thing is, on the first drop, like 6-7 mangrove, not mangrove snapper, but mutton snapper were caught. Small juvenile mutton snappers nonetheless. So after like 10 minutes, 15 minutes at this spot, captain says, no, let's go. Now, mind you, we hadn't caught any mutton snapper at the other spot. We caught one keeper mutton snapper on Thursday, but not this many. And people were, you know, really excited about this. But after about 10-15 minutes of fishing, the captain says, yo, it's time to go. So we go to another spot, and the other spot is similar to the first spot. But and the second captain, we did limit out both days. We limited out on yellowtail snapper. So you know, I'm a little biased because I caught more fish with the first captain and we went to more spots. So this is about, you know, the captain going to spots. And again, it could be that, you know, I don't know why the captain stayed at the one spot so long. We hit 3 spots and we should have hit more. So the point of this video is, if the captain wants to catch fish, 2 knows where the spots are, 3 has the desire to go to different spots, are the ingredients for a more than likely successful trip. Now, we have chartered boats before, and a lot of times the charter is just like the captain, the second captain. we go to a spot, no fish would bite, and we'd stay there for an extended period of time. And I think this is done for several reasons, in my opinion. It's possible that the captain, the fuel comes out of his pocket and he wants to conserve fuel, which is possibly, and that could be taken into consideration when paying for a charter boat, because fuel isn't free, and that is part of your ticket to what you're paying for as a customer. You're paying for fuel, you're paying for bait, you're paying for insurance, you're paying for everything. So that's one thing that you have to consider. And if the captain is making enough money and has a know-how where the spots are, then you'll be more likely to catch fish. All right. Now, how do you know this? How do you know which captain knows what he's doing? Now, that's a great question, because honestly, I'm pretty experienced with fishing and chartering and things like that. It's pretty, what I would suggest is to find a captain who has caught fish recently. All right. So, for example, in my example, if I would have known that this captain was, I won't go out with this captain again, the one that we went out on number day Friday, because think about it. If the fish weren't biting, then we would not have moved from the first spot to the second spot in time enough to catch any fish. Right now, the fish are basically jumping in the boat, right? Because it was a hurricane and everything is stirred up and the fish are feeding. But imagine when the fish slows down. Would you rather go up with the guy with the first spot, or the guy on Thursday who went from spot to spot, or the guy on Friday who went only one or two spots, and he only changed spots? I don't even know why he didn't change spots earlier, but he should have changed spots earlier. It's possible, like I said again, there are several ingredients that makes for a good fishing trip. You have the captain, then you have if the fish are biting or not, then you have the spots, and then you have the fuel to get to the spot. So take all of those into consideration, and the takeaway from this is to find out what the captain has been catching lately. I mean, if you're able to go to the docks in the Keys, if you get there like on a Friday morning or any morning or any afternoon, I'm sorry, just go around 3 or 4 o'clock, check out the docks, see who comes in with what, check the catch, see what was caught today, and you could talk to them, talk to the people who got off the boat, and set up, if you see what you like, set up something with that captain. If I would have done this for my previous trips, we would have saved a lot of money and caught much more fish. So just take this into consideration. I'm just sharing my experience with you. Just make sure to go and check out for yourself. The reviews aren't necessarily accurate, because the reviews could be from a couple months ago, whereas you're fishing today or tomorrow, and they might not be relevant, because hell, if I'll write a review for both of them and I'll put both good reviews, but at the same time I would not go out with the second captain again. So again, make sure that you do your research on the captains, find out what they've caught lately, and have a good time. That's what it's all about, really. Sometimes you go out and don't catch any fish, and it's all about having a good time. I met some cool people on both trips. I met some, when the fish aren't biting and you're driving and traveling, you can definitely meet some cool people on the boat. Everybody's out there to have a good time. It was in the Florida Keys, so we met some great people. So fishing is important, but people are more important. So have fun, enjoy, talk with you later. Peace.